good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, upside down people, wherever you are in the world. This is actually correct today. I have Moog with me on the old phone. Moog, come in. Moog 1212.
Over.
Over, just over. How are we doing, everybody? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to game number 5 here at the Mancunian Carnage. This is the last game of the day. Now, we've got table 3 on. Table 1 was Duncan versus Byron. So we've already had Byron on twice, and we had Duncan on yesterday. So I want to show you a little bit of difference rather than just 3 games of Iron Jaws charging in turn 1. Table number 2, the players didn't want to play on stream, which is absolutely not a problem, but they are the 2 tables that are fighting it out for the top 2 spots, as both of them will be 5-0 at the end of all of this. And we ended up with table 3, which is actually a face-off of Team Wales, or two members of Team Wales. Now, we have got, well, if we just go to the top down straight away, we've got Pure Darkness, because I'm in the wrong scene. Good job, Ben. We have got Simon and Dan with Nighthaunt and Lumineth Realm Lords, respectively. Shall we run through some lists, Moog?
Yeah, I suppose that's a good idea.
Yeah. Great. Do you want to take Simon or do you want to take Dan?
I am not touching an elf with a 12-foot pole, not even a 13-foot pole.
All right.
Right, so starting off with Nighthaunt, we've got Emerald Host, so that is going to be picking D3 plus 1 units at the start of the game, and they can take more wounds per turn, essentially. So we're starting off with 2 Krolgos Cruciators. So they, of course, are the ranged unit that has a little aura of -1 damage if they get some of their range damage off.
Yep.
And then we've got 2 Dreadblade Harrows. One's a general with the Cloaked in Shadow, so cannot be attacked by more than 1 unit in each phase. And the artifact Light Shard of the Harvest Moon, which I think is +1 attack to everything once per game.
Okie dokie.
And the other Dreadblade is a Beacon of Nagashazar, which is return a dead model to a unit.
Nice.
And well, to make the most of that, what have we got? We've got 8 units of Hex Rays. That's what done.
And 3 Spirit Hosts, though.
Yeah, they're an afterthought.
Yeah, you didn't have the points for 5 more Hex Wraiths, so you take the Spirit Hosts instead.
Yeah, just 8 units of Hex Rays. Simple. Slap it on the table. Bam. Done.
Bish bash bosh. Love it. Love life. Pretty simple. Bounty Hunters on 3 of those units of Hex Race. I'll have to find out what colour Hex Race they are in the battlefield, and a Battle Regiment, and then a Warlord as well. So, you know, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops there for Simon. Reasonable?
Yeah. Simple. I like it.
Sweet.
Straightforward.
Easy peasy. Then moving over to Dan, who is rocking Lumineth Realm Lords and Zaytrek, there you go, as the sub-allegiance. Take what theirs as their grand strategy. We've got a Sonari Law Seeker being their leader, with the Fast Learner, the Gift of the Selenar, Total Eclipse as their extra spell, and Lambert Light. So we're going to be looking at making 2 CP cost for a lot of the command abilities here, using it with Total Eclipse, isn't that?
Yeah, that's Total Eclipse.
Yep. Then we've got 2 Foxes. We've got a Fox in the Severith Lord of the 7th Wind, and then a Huracanum Spirit of the Wind, so 2 of the Foxes there. Named 1 and non-named 1. We've got a block of 20 Orlum Wardens with protection of Haish. We've got a unit of 10 with Lambent Light, another unit of 10 with Lambent Light, and then the classic block of 30 Sentinels with the speed of Haish, obviously reinforced twice. And we've got Cogs and the Runes of Petrification. There you go. 1950. Quite a small list. And is a 1-drop.
Yeah, it's a lot of elves in that list.
And we can see the armies going down now. Speaking of the 1-drop, look at the sheer amount of bodies on the Lumineth side. Obviously, you've got that massive 30 block of Sentinels there to the right-hand side. You've got Severeth in the top section there, I think, with the with the normal Spirit of the Wind there at the bottom. And then you just got the massive screen of Wardens, which are pretty darn tanky, if you ask me. And you can see the Shrine Luminor, or whatever it's called, the Floaty River House, chilling there right at the top.
I think another thing to note is that all the Wardens have been placed backwards, so that the elves should flee. It's more of a case of now models can actually fit when they're fighting the when they're fighting the Lumineth Wardens, because those actual 3-inch range spears get in the way of a lot of things.
Well, they are 3-inch range as well, aren't they, in the game?
They are a 3-inch range, but
Yeah.
they are actually over 3 inches long.
It's
and
one of... Sorry, I was just going to say, it's one of those models that are actually a physical representation of the range they can use in game.
Yes, and although there is lances longer in the game that are only 1 inches, it's totally fine and doesn't create any problems at all when you're trying to, charge 50 clan rats into them, and you can't get them there because the spears are there.
I should never have got you on for this game, because you're going to be nothing but salty throughout this, aren't you?
There's going to be a slight bias.
The Window's doing a wonderful job of cloaking the Hex Wraith in shadow and making the lovely light of high elves, or light elves, off there to the right hand side be cloaked in pure sunlight. It's quite cinematic, actually. I'll take it.
It's going to be interesting. I can't say that I've seen a Nighthaunt list sporting 8 units of Hex Wraiths before.
And go 3 and 1.
Yeah, it's doing very well.
3 and 1, only losing to the Caradron Overlords in Game 1, who are now 4 and 0.
I know, Caradron Overlords surprisingly making a decent comeback this edition.
Yeah, it's a double Ironclad list.
Oh, love me an Ironclad.
So it's pretty darn tanky.
Yeah, I love me an Ironclad. Great models, would never want to paint one.
No. But
Let
I do
alone,
love the models.
would never want to buy the replacement base, because Games Workshop, if you're watching, what were you thinking with that base stick? Honestly.
I know, ridiculous. Anywho, we are going to be playing Won't Back Down here today as the final game off the wheel that was spun. This is the battle plan where you hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and, more importantly, you can rally on a 4-up if you're a Galatian veteran unit near an objective. You
really don't like to see that for the Lumineth, because they are all, apart from the HQs, Galatian veterans.
Yep.
But it's also going to be interesting to see Hex Wraiths. Except they're mounted, so they're not Galatian veterans.
Yeah, they're mounted, so they don't get the GV units.
So it's going to be fun to see those spirit hosts.
I think this
take advantage.
Yeah, well, I mean, this battle plan's the one that's going to be. We're going to take advantage of that 4+ near an objective with those massive blocks of wardens there. You know, Hex Wraiths are pretty nice, though, aren't they, Moog?
Yeah, they're certainly well. They must be pretty nice if they've got this far.
Well, yeah. I mean, they can move over units and do mortal wounds to that unit it moves over, which is pretty cool. Obviously, all Nighthaunt units have retreat and charge, which is super nice. What else? There is...
The Hex Wraiths, since their battle time changed, I think they've just got impact hits now instead of the run over.
Oh, have they? Oh, even better.
Yeah.
That means you don't actually have to run over it.
They do have an ability now to double their movement to 24 inches, but they can't charge that turn.
Jesus Christ. Oh, Phantasmal Advance.
Yeah, so pretty decent for objective capturing. And, if the opponent ever leaves their objectives, 24 inches.
Yep. I mean, they're not awful. They've got 2 attacks each, 3s and 3s, -1/1. The 3 units that are in Bounty Hunters will be doing 2 damage against those wardens, sorry.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, and let's not forget, with so many units, the Nighthaunt have a real good chance to bring out all of those stacking debuffs from their charges.
Yes, yeah, with so many small units. And I think that's what you're sort of trying to capitalise on here with Simon, is making sure you've got multiple charges going into multiple units. He might also just be trying to play the board control game. So it's a case of, I've got all these MSUs, and this is going to be pretty good to be able to get us around the tabletop and do the good stuff. All right, it's table 3, Liam. Table 1 would have played on stream, but I didn't want to put the same army on there 3 times and have another army that we've already seen on once. It's my fault. If I hadn't had Byron on last round... Well, actually, no, it's not my fault. If we hadn't had Byron on last round, I would have had him on for table 1 this game. But, I'd rather... I'd rather we see a nice mix of stuff, you know? Can be a bit boring if we see the same thing on rinse and repeat, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's how many factions in this game? Let's get some representation for each one, you know.
Yeah, oh, actually, that's a very good shout. Speaking of representation, Grand Alliance is here present. We have got a load, like 42% of them are Order. Destruction and Death just tailing up the back there, with Chaos sliding into the middle, but only just with over half of what Order has, so it's pretty interesting to see. We have an absolute massive array of armies here at this weekend event. There are obviously a lot of players, but it's nice to see that representation across loads of different stuff is making their way up here. Factions not represented, we've got no Zinch, no Chaos, no Beast of Chaos, sorry, no Gloomspites, and no Sons of Behemoth, and the most repped Grand Strategies take what's theirs and no place for the weak, making really big showings.
That is a big shame to not see a single Gloomspite list. And honestly, surprising, no Suns.
We did have a Gloomspite list, but they did drop from the tournament, unfortunately.
Shame.
Massive shame.
Although it's nice to see that the one Caradron Overlord player is 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, the worst he can do this event is 4-1, which is really nice. It's still a solid top 25% easily finish, which is really cool. Puts my faith in the KO.
And how's the old fan favourite list doing? The I guess it's the equivalent to the Hex Raid list, the Black Knight list.
Oh, unfortunately, I think it's 0 and 4. Or it might be 1 and 3. I'm looking at it.
It's 5-0.
It's on table 30 right now. Out of 37. So it must have won a game. Yeah, it's won one game.
Crikey. Surprising.
I genuinely... Sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying, we got some nice, crazy deployment of these Hex Raids.
Yeah, that is pretty mental, actually. Dan's obviously just very stalwart, black. There's my block of models. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. Whereas Simon's, I think, trying to spread out this unit, this section as much as he can, just in case Dan decides to go first. He doesn't want any cheeky foxes being sneaky and peaky.
I mean, no one wants the foxes. Anyway. They've obviously got an absolutely massive move range. Like, their speed is unmatched.
Yep.
And with no shooting to realistically take them down, they simply are not going to be. Unless he gets very smart with the use of the Phantasmal Advance and boxes them in so that they cannot move.
Yep.
Unlikely to ever be touched this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure you need to touch them this turn either, do you? I think you can just focus on trying to win through objectives rather than just ignore the foxes.
Well, there again, he does have the Emerald Host, so if he picks units, he could just mortal wound them down every turn via his passive.
Do they have any ward save?
Nope.
Oh, well, in that case, definitely. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, the foxes are what, 9 wounds each?
Probably something around that. I'll just get a quick look. 10 wounds for Severith.
Yep. I assume it's 10 for the other one as well, then.
And 8 for the normal.
Oh, wow. Well, in that case, you do D3 mortal wounds on a 2-up at the very start, yeah?
No, never mind. They've got a 5-up ward.
Either way, you could potentially see them both die in turn 2 just from passively having them on the battlefield. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Simon here choose both Foxes and the Lawseeker as the target of mortal woundage.
Possibly, but...
Or even the blocker Sentinel. I mean, are the Sentinels 2 wounds each?
I believe so. But don't forget they can be rallied back, so...
Yeah, so maybe it's not... Maybe popping on the 3
Get rid of the heroes and then they can't rally.
Yeah. No, don't they? Do they not have a champion?
Oh, yeah, they've all got champions. Of course they do.
It's dumb. Rally's the most dumb thing in the game, and the fact that you can do it on a 4-up in this battle plan is even dumber.
I mean, I think Rally would be good if it was kept to the Horde armies that really like the mechanic. However, we gave 4+ reinforces to Fire Slayers, Daughters of Cain, and Oryx.
Sentinels are only 1 wound. I'm surprised.
No, they could have done a lot with Rally. Unfortunately, they gave all the mechanics to the wrong armies for them, in my opinion. It very much should have been maybe like a Gloomspite, a Skaven, those kind of armies that got Rally benefits.
Yep.
Honestly, Daughters of Cain, I don't know what they were thinking.
Don't know, 4+ rally back on snakes, right?
Absolute farce. Absolute farce.
Can you imagine if they left it so you could still do it in combat? Oh, thank God they
It
changed
wouldn't
that.
surprise me if they made an exception.
Genuinely, somebody on the playtesting team over at GW must have a hard one for Daughters.
Daughters and Seraphon, I don't think have ever been bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's just been no nerf, has there?
Well, I mean, Seraphon at least got the tiny nerf recently. Of the skinks no longer having -1 damage.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You know, completely perfectly balanced now.
That's all it took.
El Skinko.
Seraphon have seen a massive drop in popularity since then.
They actually have, right? Yeah, loads. Anyway, back to the game in hand. Simon is just making sure he's getting his deployment down. He originally kept a couple of units of Hexrace off because, as part of the Nighthaunt book, you can put some units in the grave and then bring them up later on. And he was just got a couple of 9-inch markers to see if he can sneak around the back potentially onto the back corners of the battlefield, but unfortunately, not available for him to do so. How do you think this is going to go then, Moog?
How do I think it's going to go?
Yeah.
In my heart, I want the Nighthaunt to win. Obviously.
Yep.
Do I think there's a large potential that we just see a bunch of Sentinels take the heroes out? Yep.
Okay.
Do I think the Wardens have enough I don't know if... It really all depends on the charge bonuses. If they can get the Strike Last off on both blocks of Wardens at the same time, maybe they'll do enough damage.
Okay.
I mean, it'll certainly be an interesting game. I don't think there's like a clear hard winner here.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
also depends if we get the CP usage up as well.
Yeah, I imagine we're just going to see a load of CP. Because Total Eclipse, you just cast it on yourself, don't you?
Yeah, you just cast it, and all of your command abilities are going to be 2 instead of 1, which I think is a really, really uninteractive negative play experience spell.
Yeah.
Because it means if you go first, you're getting one command ability over 2 rounds.
Yeah, of course.
While the opponent has 4.
Yeah, it has the potential to be quite devastating, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really don't like the idea of it as a spell. And obviously we've not got many wizards in fact, we've got no wizards to deny it on the
I assume it's like what do you call it? Oh, my brain has just died. I assume it's like a 7 to cast, or is it like a 6?
I think it's an 8.
An 8. Okay, well,
off the top of my head, I'm not 100% on that.
That's pretty good.
But don't forget, because he is Zytrek, he has rerolls for days. I believe he gets +1 to cast as well.
Okay.
Where are we? Zytrek. Add 1 to the first casting, dispelling, or unbinding roll you make for each wizard in each hero phase. Yeah. So they obviously have +1. They can reroll due to the shrine.
Yep.
They can reroll due to the cogs if they get the cogs off. Or every single Lumineth wizard, which is all of them, will get
Yep.
rerolls.
Oh, Jesus.
So they've got a lot of rerolls and a lot of chances to do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, as we said, unless he takes the heroic action of unbinding, no wizards, I believe, in that Nighthaunt list.
Does there need to be honest with you? Like, with such, like, I guess unless you don't want total eclipse happening, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not going to get a choice. It's happening.
Yeah. Well, we've seen Dan did get priority, obviously because he's a 1-drop and has gone first, and he's summoned. What's that? Is that the Lumineth spell?
The Rune of Petrification.
Yeah.
Christ, does it have that long of a range?
Rune of Petrification has a casting value of 8 and it has a range of 18 inches.
Yeah, 18.
I'm going to have to nip to the table because I don't even know where the wizard that's casting that is. Give me 2 seconds.
It's probably in the shrine.
Does the shrine double the range of casts?
The shrine does increase cast ranges, but endless spells don't usually have those applied to them. But because when you're embarked in a piece of terrain, it counts as you being at the very front point.
Yeah, of course. Right, I will be 2 seconds.
And yeah, it just increases the range of the commands and makes them free, I believe, if it's a non-mounted hero. I knew it was double range of something, and it's double the range of giving a reroll out if it's manned. But yeah, if we're seeing the Rune of Petrification comes out, then we're going to see a big old bundle of mortal wounds come out as it affects every single spell, or well, every single unit within range. Half their movement, I believe, as well.
No, he's not. So, Dan hasn't actually decided if he's going first or second yet. They are just testing stuff to set it up.
Okay. And no, just think, no. It's so if the Rune of Petrification does go off, it's every unit within 6 suffers D3 mortal wounds on a 4+ and subtracts 1 from run and charge rolls.
Okay. So pretty reasonable then.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when the deployment is like this, so that you can catch a lot of units.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of Simon's downside, I guess, with having this many units spread out exactly as they are, is you only need to tip a corner of one for it to be susceptible to potential mortal wounds.
And there we go. Yeah, it's because we're measuring up because the Law Seeker has an ability to just appear on an objective turn 1.
Nice.
Yep. But it usually is done before you pick the first turn. But I guess he always knew he was picking anyway. So
Yeah.
they just have to be on an objective. So he's obviously going to go there and then just cast that out. It's just measuring where he can get the most value out of it.
Yep, and both of these players are on Team Wales and have played against each other multiple times, obviously. They are as much friends as they are players and combatants, if you like, on this current tabletop. So there might be little bits of give and take here that we aren't getting communicated potentially with the from us. It's just nice to see, right? Welsh handshake. Yeah, well, this is the problem, Andy. This is the problem. There's more Welsh than British, English people, not Brit. I mean, Welsh aren't British. Oh dear, I'm going to shut up now. But they are both formidable players as well. You know, Wales is absolutely no team to like shy away against. To sort of shrug off. It's a formidable name in the Age of Sigmar community. There will be no give and take. And what does the rune cast on again, Moog?
Rune.
Of petrification.
The rune of petrification. 8.
God, they're pretty high casts, aren't they?
That there.
But I suppose they're also pretty darn good.
I mean, they're good. He's getting rerolls. He's probably going to be getting +1 as well. So
that is an arcane bit of scenery that he's stood next to.
Oh, they're actually playing with the scenery rolls as well.
Yeah, so we've got arcane here, arcane here. This looks like sinister. This looks like damned. This is arcane. This is mystical, I think, and then this is sinister.
So terrain rules where all that matters is mystical and arcane, and everyone ignores everything else.
I don't know. Damned can be pretty bad, right? Oh wait, no, you can optionally take damage, can't you, for rerolls?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, chat. There is a fire alarm here at the venue. I will be. We'll go to the Be Right Back screen, and I'll keep us live until we're back. Oh. Moog,
So
you're with the stream. There you go.
Well.
If you don't want to be on audio, that is absolutely fine. Just mute yourself.
That is fine. So he'll be getting rerolls from potentially Cogs and all the other Zytrek stuff that all the elves have. There'll be the +1 from the arcane scenery. And this is a oops all Hexrays list. A massive 8 units of 5. So while they're all gone for a lovely little fire alarm, what's everyone doing? Anyone doing any lovely hobby? Oh, you're the painter of the Lumineth. It's a nice looking army. It's just got the massive downside of being an elf. And oh lord, I'm surrounded by elf lovers.
I think we're okay now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. Rune of Petrification is cast on a 9, which does go off. Rolled a 7 to cast, and then +1 from Arcane, and +1 because elves. Somebody did set the fire alarm off, and the Element Game staff have done a full brief walk down, but in true style, Alex, being the gentleman he is, has informed us that did make us all leave the building, and I'm fat and overweight, and now I'm out of breath, and now I've got to talk. It's grim. He's not even looking. But there is Alex was doing an announcement. There has been some back and forth up and down the stairs whilst we try and make sure that we're all safe and nobody's on fire. So thank you very much, Alex and the Element team, for keeping us all safe. I made sure I took my Milky Way with me because I was midway through eating.
Very important question.
Yes.
Did the Element Cat get taken out of the building?
The Element Cat, I took the Element Cat out of the building because the Element Cat is currently next to me on the chair.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure he was considered when the fire alarm and evacuation was
I
happening.
know you're supposed to leave them, but... Cat!
You can't leave the Element Cat.
Look at him. He's so done with today. It's alright, it's alright. Alright, so we've got the Rune of Petrification off, naturally. And then a couple of Protection of Shaiish going off, Mystic Shield. What did we miss? What did we miss? What did we miss? Yes, yeah, more Crusher. This is all the Hex Wraith list. Painted with Musu Black. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat.
Oh yeah, we had a lovely discussion, found out that half of them are elf lovers, and yeah.
I mean, sure.
So
How many?
It'll be interesting to see how much this rune can put out damage-wise against all these hex rays. I don't know how many. I simply don't know how many groups it's actually going to get. I'd imagine that it looks like there's 5 separate groups there to me it might tag in.
I think there's 6.
Yeah,
it's also got the Spirit Hosts. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, or something like that. 5, 6, I think. So, somewhere, maybe even 7. It's a lot. It's a lot of units. And there we go. Just D3 mortal wounds coming out here and there. I mean, the Rune of the Petrification is the best way to be able to try and go through all these units when they're clumped up like this, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing more effective would be a nice little purple sun right there. I did manage to run into the Twitter list that Alex has been keeping of the things that the purple sun has eaten this tournament.
Yep. I didn't realise that Turn to Stone happens at the start and the end of the movement phase. Happens twice. So at the start of the movement phase and at the end of the movement phase, roll a dice for each unit within 6 inches. On a 4-up, take D3 mortal wounds. So there is the potential that Dan can be taking 3 D3 mortal wounds on each of these units before he gets to move them. That's incredible.
It is almost a... I mean, it is a lot of potential. I was almost going to compare it to the Skaven Warp Lightning Vortex, which does similar. It does movement phase and the hero phase that you set it down, but no, this is at the start and end of every movement phase.
Yep, yours or your opponent's.
Yep.
So if you manage to set it up, the chances are it's going off 3 times before they get to do anything.
Yep, and of course it's given up that debuff for a -1 to run and charge.
I mean, thankfully, right, it's a 4-up, so it's only a 50-50 chance that you've got after you've cast it. It doesn't hurt Lumineth Realm Lords, Liam. It literally says this ability has no effect on Lumineth Realm Lord units. Unless they've FAQ'd it, the wording on the spell says it doesn't affect LRL units. And the ability is the whole of Turn to Stone, so it wouldn't do the subtraction and it wouldn't do the mortal wounds. By that logic, right? I mean, they could have very well FAQ'd it, but I'm just going off the information that I've got here. I'm going to check right now. And we can see the foxes coming up there just to be able to go in, do some damage, make a bit more of a roadblock, I guess. I don't know. What are you protecting if you're down here? Are you protecting anything?
I mean, he can quite efficiently just castle up. That's just what a lot of Realm Lord builds do. A lot of it's going to be seeing how much they can take out hero-wise, especially the Crawlghast before they manage to get that +1 damage protection off. And what the foxes have bows with 4 shots, 2s and 3s -2 d3 damage.
Sounds about devastatingly right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. There's a lot to go through actually with the Hex Race because have they got 4 wounds each? 3 wounds each. No, 3 wounds each surely.
X-rays 2.
They only 2. Oh, Struth. Okay, well
2
there's
with
not
a 4-up ethereal.
Okay, 4 up ethereal and then the 6 up ward
6
for
up ward, yeah.
being Nighthaunt.
Yep.
Interesting.
I will quickly check the FAQ for the old Lumineth spell.
I thought they had a 3 up wounds. Interesting.
No, even in the FAQ, it says that it has no effect on Lumineth Realm Lords.
There we go. And then we can see a big old block of wardens there. There's just so much detail on these things. And by so much, I clearly mean too much detail. There's a lot of detail.
A lot of the new races fall into that trap of having too much stuff on them.
Yeah.
Especially Crawl Boys. So many random trinkets and pouches and everything else. I don't want that. I want a naked dwarf. Just slap on some flesh paint, maybe some weapons, done.
Bish bash bosh, indeed, done.
Hate painting, can't stand it.
Oh, there's people out there that do it for a living.
Madness.
Crazy.
But I also can't afford to pay them for their services, so paint I must.
A paint you must.
So paint I must. 380 clan rats, just in case that list ever needs to be used.
Oh, mate, I would like to see that on a battle report that we do.
Just can't. You just can't fit it into some of the deployment zones.
Yes, mate. You certainly can. 1 second, chap.
What have you missed so far this game? We're still on the first half of turn 1. We've got the Rune of Petrification has gone out and done some mortal wounds onto the Hex Wraiths. And it'll do the same at the end of the movement phase, but we're just seeing all the L's move up now before we get some more mortal wounds and shooting coming out.
So Alex isn't a massive rules nut. I have a question for you, Moog. Different game, sorry. You know Orgrots, the Maggot Lord for Nurgle?
Yes.
He has an ability to generate a CP with a spell or something. For him. Can he also then use a heroic action to get another CP on him? I assume so, right? Because they're not the same ability.
Orgots.
Yeah. I think it's Orgots. Have a look at that. Anyway, whilst you're doing that, I'll have a quick...
Orgots has an ability that lets him just issue a command for free.
Yeah, so he doesn't get a CP, he just does it for free, doesn't he?
Yeah,
okay,
so there's nothing stopping him getting another CP.
Yep, that's fair. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure. Holy, that's a lot of horsies. It is indeed. Hello, Tom. How you doing? We have got the Hex Race of Simon versus the Warden and Sentinel spam of Dan. It is 8 units of Hex Wraiths, so it's 40 Hex Wraiths. Not quite as impressive, if you ask me, as the 75 Black Knights that I'm currently looking at. But hey ho, look at that. Purple, blue, sort of minty fresh colour scheme going on there for the Lumineth. The Wardens are so arrogant they turn their back to the enemy. Yep, and their sides. And their sides.
I mean, arrogant and elf definitely go well together.
Elfagant?
No, they're not elegant or elfagant either.
That's fair. The Lore Seeker in the movement phase has moved back to the what's it called? Sloop Shrine and garrisoned itself. There is a 2-minute cooldown on the change of scenes, so I will just do that myself. And we can see this is the end of the movement phase, so the Rune of Petrification is doing its dirty work and trying to just take out some more Hex Wraiths, just whittle them down before they can just get healed back up, or at least give Simon a choice as to which units he is healing and where he's going with those extra models back on the tabletop.
Are Hex Rays any good? They've made it to 3-1, so they are definitely doing something across the games.
Nice, Tom. Nice. Yeah, they've so the Hex Rays have a lot of impact. Well, I say a lot. They have the impact hits for D3 mortals, don't they, on 2+? When you're running 8 units, that's 8 D3 mortals. And remember, Nighthaunt can retreat and charge. So there's the ability for them to just back out and just charge different units, pick things off. And also you've got the extra buffs from being Nighthaunt. If you make certain charges, you can reduce rend or you can reduce attack, all that sort of stuff on things. Sorry, reduce saves on stuff, which is really nice. And this is the Sentinel shooting now. 2, 4, 6, 7 mortals.
Just before any removal happens, I'm just going to point out that all those Hex Rays in the line just look like one snaky line of Hex Rays.
They do, yeah. With the Spirit Hosts nestled between them.
They are a very ordered, just line of them running down the battlefield.
Without a doubt. I learned something about the Sentinels today. You know the champion of the Sentinels?
Mm-hmm.
If the champion can see the target unit, they can't use their out of line of sight shooting. Because the wording on the ability is, if this unit's champion can't see the unit.
Mm-hmm. Well, fortunately, it's getting changed anyway.
So yeah, at the start of your shooting phase, you can pick an enemy unit within 30 inches of the high sentinel that's not visible to them. That's not visible to the unit, that's just not visible to the champion. So if that champion can see any part of the unit that it's trying to target, they cannot use their Scryhawk lanterns. Fun little fact. What do you mean it's getting changed? What, in the new book?
Mm-hmm.
Since when, Liam? Since the current War Scroll, if you read it. That is what it says. I learned about that today. I mean, feel free to read it.
Mm-hmm. So it's one way of getting some counterplay at least, but yeah. It won't be staying that way for too much longer.
Again, unless it's been FAQ'd. Which it very much could have been, but I haven't seen anything. But it's as my annotation on top of the War Scrolls. It is. It's this first sentence here. You're right.
No, Tom's got it right on the money.
Oh, you just turned him around.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
yeah.
very much in the spirit of initial AOS.
If you're looking the other way, yeah, are we back to AOS 1 here?
Yeah, absolutely.
If we're looking the other way, we can't see them. Oh, dear. We have seen some of those hex wraiths removed from the tabletop just because of the sheer amount of shooting from the from the sentinels. There's just little things in the game that... right, and as a Warhammer player myself, I'm going to straight up say this. Oh my god, the movement phase, they're doing them all mortal wounds. D3, a fat 3. What was I going to say? Yes, Warhammer players, and I am very guilty of this as well, we're really lazy when it comes to the reading rules, right? We will read the rule as we want to read it, and we will only change what we think it does when questioned on it, because we're all lazy. Is it because it's the first time it's been pointed out, Liam, though? That's the thing. Like, when you actually read the war scroll, that's what it says. Like, rules as written, that's what it says.
I mean, I think people just accepted it, as, it's just another elf rule. Why not? Why aren't they getting out of line of sight shooting?
Why not?
That sounds about right.
So much bloat for us all to remember it's not. There is a lot of bloat, but I still think the... I don't know. One thing I was a real big fan of, right, was... I was a really big fan of universal special rules. Because there's things in the game that do the same thing, like one unit to the next. But they're called different things, or they're worded ever so slightly different, but they have the same outcome. It just doesn't quite make sense, you know? Like, just make it a USR. Tom says that is indeed how it works. Had a funny tier ruling or interaction due to this with a garrison unit of sentinels at Worlds. Line of sight was checked from the terrain piece, so bye-bye range. Hell yes. Get wrecked, sentinels.
It's just becoming public knowledge now, right when the book's changing, right as intended.
I mean, I assume they'll just... I assume he's just... they're going to stay the same. They're just going the new book, they've literally probably changed an and to an or somewhere, and they've gone, reprint the book.
Oh, well... It's all on the War Scrolls from the new box that's coming out.
Yeah,
next weekend.
Oh, the Sentinels.
So I mean, they're still. Yeah, there is. So they've changed from. They no longer have line of sight shooting, or ignoring it.
Do they not? They just got rid of it.
No, they ignore cover now, and their bows have been taken down to 24 inches.
Oh, nice. Okay. I mean, ignoring cover is still nice, you know.
Yeah. It's certainly a lot easier to get along with than, we're just going to fire all these bows that we can't see where anyone is, with longer range than actual cannons.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, right? The game is, I think the core rules of the game are an easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing, or easy to learn, take time to master kind of thing. And I think a broad knowledge of loads of different armies can help you win certain games, but an in-depth knowledge of what your army does can win you more games, I think. But yeah, anything to make it easier would be quite nice. Isn't that... No, so cover and line of sight are different things. So cover's just +1 to the save, right? So if you're on a bit of terrain or in a garret or in a woods or something,
if you're wholly within,
yeah, you get cover, so you get +1 to your save.
And yeah, Shining Company has been buffed massively. It's now War Scrolls, so you can ally in things from Lumineth and still get Shining Company.
Really? Wow.
Yes. It's just going to be another book of elf stuff.
Great. Are we just going to see a resurgence of Lumineth? No, do you know what it is? They're releasing a whole new range. That's my bet.
I mean, we know that Tyrion's coming at some point, but God help me.
Oh, hang
if
on
I
a
have to
second.
sit through another wave of elves. Yep.
Big news from Table 1.
They're done.
No. It's Skaven versus Ironjaws. The Purple Sun has just eaten one of Byron's Maw Crushers. He's just lost 25% of his army to a 16.7% roll.
Well, I mean, that's the Purple Sun, and that was the Skaven list we had on yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes. That's Duncan Woods with his Skaven.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be. I mean that's very tasty. You don't want those Maw Crushers getting in. I was hoping for the double Maw, the double Maw Crusher on a 1.
I reckon he shot one of them off with the Storm Fiends, you know?
I mean, he can very much do a lot of damage with the Storm Fiends and the Jezzail's nail to it, so...
Tom says all this and he's still in his hero phase. No. We're actually finished Dan's turn 1. We can see his score there. He's got hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and gaining momentum achieved. So he's got a cheeky 5+. Because remember, the Law Seeker was deployed on the objective, so counts as claiming it. This is actually now into Simon's phase, and we don't know what his battle tactic is yet, so I'm just going to go and ask him. And
yeah, there is still a chance that what we've seen from the Lumineth Warstrios could change. Of course, Skaven had a couple of changes from the Echoes of Doom box to their actual Battletome ones. I'm going to be honestly shocked if they don't take some of the Lumineth stuff away and replace them with alternatives. Because I'm not saying the Lumineth are the strongest army out there, but they are, in my opinion at least, one of the most negative armies to play against. They are not a very fun experience to go against. In the same way that people don't like playing against giants and things like that routinely as well.
Okie dokie, cool. So, unit Hex Race, the pink unit of Hex Race have been removed. The players were just measuring up a load of stuff before doing it. That's one of the things, right? These two are really high caliber players, and what they're doing is they're measuring everything out and agreeing with their opponent as to what's going on before they actually decide to move anything. So Simon's been measuring everything, sorting everything out, and has chosen against all odds to be able to make sure that he can... oh, look at that shot. Look at the charge of the Hex Raids coming in.
Yeah, we've got the 9-inch sticks for days.
We saw... Well, you don't want to redeploy, do you? We also saw a finest hour on the Law Seeker in the garrison there.
Who isn't very nice to play versus. There are certain factions that kind of have a lot of negative aspects to playing them, and I think Lumineth are very much a faction that isn't fun to play against. A lot of their rules are completely designed around breaking every phase of the game. So while they're not the strongest army, I don't particularly find them very fun to play against.
It's like the Khorne Demon Prince, right? And Blood Slit Ground. Anything that halves charge and run rolls, that'll get changed to -1 if anything. But anything that halves charge and run rolls is just such a negative thing. Like, it's horrible. It completely nullifies some armies. Particularly if you get a fat 6-inch redeploy.
Yeah. I guess it's in the same way that the Purple Sun is probably considered right now a very negative play experience.
Yeah.
For just a 16% chance to lose your model.
I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of people take it for the Rend buff, right? The -1 save.
A lot of people are taking it for the Rend, but you got a 16% chance of just taking something out. And when it comes to the point where you've swung a game with it, it's not really satisfying for either player. Like if you remove
I reckon you
LRL
could.
on the gash, sure,
Well,
it's
yeah.
fun the first time, but then it's kind of like, well, that's
Yeah.
that.
I think you could remove that rule from the sun and it still be really good for its points. Like, I think you've definitely got that opportunity. Zephyrus, yes, they are. It is gorgeous paint scheme on the Lumineth. And actually, you know what? The Simon's Hex Rays look really cool. They just look like pure dread shadows, which are really, really nice. Oh, Andy, did you paint the Lumineth? You did a lovely job of them, sir. So we can see the advance of the Hex Race there. I'm just going to quickly change us to a top-down so I can have a cheeky look at exactly where we are on this map. You can see all of the Hex Race making their way in. Potentially a double turn could be super good. That will also do. Thank you very much. View right. That massive block of Wardens there. You know, we get enough impact hits on, we could potentially kill them with just impacts, right? Right?
Yeah, potentially.
I mean, you won't, but you could. There is a very small chance. No, there isn't, actually. If there's 20 Wardens, there's not going to be enough impact hits to do 20 Mortals over there. There's one. Oh, God, there's so many units. 1, 2, 3, 4 units over there. So potential 4d3 mortal wounds.
It's like a rainbow of wappy sticks.
It's nice. It's nice to see. I like it. So both of these players are potentially fighting for a podium spot. You know, there will be 2 players on 5-0 at the end of the weekend. And there will be multiple players on 4-1. It's just how they decide to go 4-1 and which one of these will go 3-2. So potentially paying for the podium. Not paying for the podium. I mean, I guess you could pay your opponent.
Oh, that depends if you consider this a pay-to-win hobby or not, you know? You buy those net-listed armies, pay-to-win.
So I was talking to Simon before the start of the game about the Nighthaunt, and I said, "Why this black?" And he went, "Well, sorry, 1 second." Sorry, Alex did an announcement. So I was talking to him about it at the start of the game, and I'm like, "Why black?" And he's like, "Well, I actually bought a pot of it so I could do Be'lakor in it." And I actually remember seeing this Be'lakor and being like, "Damn, that's cool." And then he said, "But you can only buy it in big pots." So I had loads left, so I thought, "Well, I've got to do a Nighthaunt army now." So he did a Nighthaunt army, and it looks absolutely awesome.
It sure does look black. There's no other way to put it.
It looks cool, right? I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool. Obviously, people's opinions on this sort of stuff, it's like art, it's subjective. But it looks cool.
So I feel like, obviously, we're seeing it through a screen. I'd want to see how it looks in person.
Yeah. I think if you view it from the recommended retail distance of 3 foot or whatever you stand away from a table, it looks great. This is Simon W. That's all I've got for you. I don't actually know his surname. I think it's Wilson. But this is Simon W. That's all I've got for you. Simon Wales. Welsh Simon. So Cruciators, talk to me, because there's one gone up in the top right-hand corner.
Gone up in the top right hand?
Yep.
I guess
Weekly.
he's probably just going for the point, so that he forces something to go onto that point later. Probably just forcing a fox away from the main forces.
Cool. So we're looking at a hold 1, hold 2, hold more for Simon, holding 5 of the objectives here.
Yeah, unless we see at the end of the movement phase, potentially some of the Hex Wraiths go up there that are in reserve.
Possibly. Sam is just planning out exactly what he wants to do and where he wants to do it. One of the great benefits of these being 5-man units of Hex Wraiths is that you can quite comfortably string them out in a certain way as well.
Yeah, when we do charge in, we're not going to take major losses from a Unleash Hell.
Another... Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, especially since some of the units have been split up, so you can sacrifice a smaller unit to absorb that Unleash Hell if needed.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. You might not even charge this turn. You might just take the 5 points and move on with your life.
Might be playing for the double. I mean, then... I mean, you don't want to be charged as Nighthaunt. You want to do the charging.
Well, of course. But I guess it doesn't really matter if you are charged, because you can just retreat and charge in your turn anyway.
Yeah, you can, but then you're also fighting without the debuffs, potentially. Which you definitely don't want.
And they do make the Nighthaunt damn tasty.
All it do. All that minus save. The fight last.
I know the Cruciator didn't go up to the top. Sorry, they were just putting it down there, so he remembered to put it on the battlefield. Which is fair. Cruciator at the end of the movement phase going down there, maybe? He doesn't need to hold that top right objective because he'd already be holding 4. But you can see that Rune of Petrification is causing a few issues there for Simon in terms of just being obnoxiously annoying out at the back. And he's trying to make sure that all of his units are going to be outside of 6 inches.
I mean, the benefit as well of not having a wizard is he doesn't even have to really consider unbinding it. So if the Lumineth want to cast it again, they need to unbind it themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've had your turn 1 potential mortal wound bombage. But now if you want to go again, you've got to unbind it and then cast it the next turn as well, haven't you?
Mm.
I've got the old Lumineth book at home, Liam. I'll have a check when I get home.
Lumineth Book 1, Lumineth Book 2, or Lumineth Book 1.5?
I actually have them all. I don't play Lumineth, but I have them all.
I mean, they've already got 3 books. They're getting the 4th.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Like, spend that time and give me a KO book, please. Jesus. Or a Beast of Chaos book. Like,
No,
I want
to
be
get all the elves out first. So we've done Ideneth, we've done Daughters, we've done Lumineth, we've done Sylvaneth. All they need to do is introduce a new elf faction and we're good. For our quota of elves. I mean, we're already good for the quota of elves of this year, to be honest.
Can we see Mist Elves? Not Shadow Elves, not Blood Elves, not Light Elves, not Water or Water. Mist.
Oh, there's going to be an elf for every realm.
Fire Elves! Yes! Give me hot-headed Fire Elves. They'll probably have something stupid like a plus 12 to charge.
I guarantee we'll be seeing Chaos Elves before we see the Chaos Dwarf.
Mortal Wound on the Fox. We're doing the Nighthaunt Emerald Host stuff. Do you have to choose on the for a unit on the battlefield, or do you have to choose from a unit that's in your opponent's army?
What, for the Emerald Host?
Yeah.
I think you pick it at the start of the game, and just remember
Well, the
when.
only reason I'm wondering, right, is because if you could pick it for any unit, regardless of whether on the battlefield or not, you could pick it for things like the Lore Seeker and stuff.
Units on the battlefield.
Okay,
So
cool.
he couldn't have picked the Lore Peeker or Lore Seeker.
Peeker, I like Peeker. But he did choose
He
both.
just peeks at the lore.
I think he chose both. He's like, I think he chose the Sentinels and 2 Foxes. And priority for turn 2, nice and simple, is in Dan's favour. Dan rolled a 5, Simon rolled a 1. So no double turn yet, but that's absolutely fine. You know, you can weather the storm so far.
I mean, we'll be seeing Tyrian elves, we'll be seeing Malarian elves as well. But we've kind of already seen the Malarian elf style from the Shadow Stalkers and all those recent ones.
I'm just having a cheeky look at something. Gaining momentum was achieved. So only hold 1, hold 2 there for Simon. I'm a little confused as to why. Because doesn't Simon hold 4 objectives?
Where is the Lore Seeker?
He's in the shrine.
He has an ability that as long as he is within 6 of an objective, he owns it.
Oh, what? Brilliant. And because he's in the garrison, he counts as being within 6.
Yep.
Because the garrison's within 6.
Yep.
Makes sense. I mean, measuring to and from the garrison kind of makes sense, right? It simplifies the rules. We were talking earlier about ways to make the game easier for people. It makes sense for them to be able to do that. Against the odds chosen for Dan, makes sense. Easy 2 points here. You're going to get hold 1, hold 2. You can probably, if you really wanted to, shift the Wardens up there from the centre up to the left. Or even double move the Fox up there and have both Foxes contesting that middle top objective, giving you a fat extra hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and another 2 VP. You know, potentially putting you in a... You've got a 1 VP lead at the moment. You could extend it to a 2 VP lead. Nice and simple. One of the benefits of the wind spirits, if you like, the swirly dirly foxes, is that when you've got a grand strategy of take what's theirs, if you need to just dip into your opponent's territory at the end of the game, you most certainly can. And that was a miscast on the Lore Seeker, but can re-roll it?
They should be able to
sorry,
re-roll it.
the Sentinels. It was the Sentinels that miscast.
They're not re-rolling?
Say again, sorry?
And they're choosing not to re-roll it?
No, they did re-roll. They rolled a double 1.
Oh.
They re-rolled.
Well.
When you've got this many mages on the field, you kind of want to... You imagine if a miscast just stops you casting any other spells board wide? That'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Do it.
Like, your army becomes overwhelmed with power. Everything on the field takes D3 mortal wounds.
Oh, it interrupts the flow of magic.
Yeah, potentially. Interrupts the flow of magic. Any endless spells within 6 inches are unbound.
Ah, the cults only affect heroes. This is true.
Do you know what? I've never been so bold. I've wanted to play Nagash, but I've never been so bold as to do it. Because I know bloody well that 9 times out of 10 I'll roll a double 1 on his first chuffing spell. Why is it heroes? The wording says, if it is decreasing the flow of time, players can reroll casting rolls for friendly wizards that are wholly within 12 inches of this spell. It just says wizards in the app. Nothing about heroes, just wizards.
Oh yeah, guarantee when you're playing a Gash, your first spell, you just do like a Mystic Shield and bam. No more.
Liam, are you playing with an outdated app, mate? I thought part of the update was that it could just re-roll within Wizards, right? Maybe.
No, it is indeed Wizards.
It's just
got the
Wizards. It's
book
not
up as
Heroes,
well.
is it? It specifically says Wizards, and they have the Wizard keyword, don't they?
Yeah, their class is a wizard as long as they've got the unit champion and at least 4 other elves.
Oh, from the shrine. No, it's from the cogs, Liam. He's put the cogs down.
They are behind the shrine.
Yeah, just behind the shrine. If we view... Yeah, you can see it on the view left, just behind the shrine. No, don't apologise, Liam. I'm just there going, am I remembering rules wrong?
Dan deployed the Law Seeker as per the War Scroll, so deep struck it well. He turned up on the bottom middle objective and then walked back into the shrine.
He summoned the Rune of Petrification and then he garrisoned himself in the shrine in turn 1. Good afternoon, everybody. I see there's a small wave of people coming in, joining us for the last game here. We looks like we've been playing for an hour and 20 minutes. We haven't. There was a small interruption with a fire alarm, but now we are back to it. We have left it as it is. You can see the cogs there. Thank you so very much. Cogs just there, doing a lot of work there for the Lumineth. As Owen says, it's crazy value for Lumineth. It's crazy value for anything that's got a significant amount of casts, I think. Yeah, crazy.
This battle plan is he deep struck it way out of his territory. There's no problem there. He just walked back afterwards.
You're not deep striking in this territory.
Yeah, the Law Seeker can't be in his own territory, so he was on the enemy side because it's all the way to the middle of the board.
Yeah, the territory's here, and he was like over here. He was literally hugging that bit of terrain, so he's got plenty of space. Don't worry, Martin. Tom, this is, I believe. This is indeed a Team Wales Civil War. Yep. This is, you know what? I thought, let's get the Welsh on. Yeah, we've got both of these players are 3 and brain 3 and 1 going into game 5. So they're vying for the 4 and 1, potentially a 3rd place spot. Do you know what, Owen? These are the 2 best Welsh players on this table currently. I'll give you that. No, I did say at the start of the stream before you guys did join, or quite a few people joined. You know, Team Wales are a formidable team, and have the capability to absolutely pull some blinders for the competitive Age of Sigmar scene. So it's really good to see both of these players come here. Simon only got unstuck in his first game against Caradron Overlord army from who is now actually on table 2, playing for the win potentially. So that's pretty cool. The Hex Race went into the center of the board and they got shot off, and it was a bit of a back and forth between the 2 of them. But hey ho, that's what you get. And then I can't actually remember what Dan's path to victory or path to this petition was. I'll need to have a cheeky look at the TO, which I will, the documentation, which I'll have a check now to see what game Dan lost. He won game 1. I've got to be careful I don't edit scores here. He won game 2, so he must have lost the last game. Yeah, he lost against Archeon and Friends in a previous game. Oh, Liam, what you after? You're after something. Give me 1 second. Update from table 1, actually. Byron versus Duncan, who we've had on stream. It's literally down to a point where if Duncan can retain priority for the rest of the game, he can crawl back just enough points to win the game. But there isn't a lot left on the table for either of the armies. So I think there's 2 rattling guns and a deceiver left for Duncan. And it looks like Byron's rocking 1 cabbage and a couple of boys, and that's about it.
I mean, we saw what the deceiver can pull off yesterday.
Yeah, it pulled an absolute blinder for him. Let's hope Duncan's dice are on point. It would be great to see a Skaven 5-0 an event. It would be really nice.
I mean, the new book is really, really good. And, I mean, I'd like to see a list not using lots of Storm Fiends go 5-0.
I mean, it uses 6, to be fair.
It uses 6 instead of 9, but I'd like to see something a bit less traditional. Let's go that way.
Yep. Tom, Wales probably has the highest percentage of good players per capita of all the world's teams. That's because 50% of the Welsh team, the Welsh population, play Warhammer. And that consists of the Welsh team, right? Is that how that works? I know, we have just got a lot of idiots over here. I'm one of them. I'm garbage at the game. I was...
Well, I'm picking 4 Doom Wheels, 4 Warp Lightning Cannons. What am I going to do?
One of the things that I was talking to players earlier was, myself and you, Moog, I've not told you this. Here, have some live feedback. We've been told that we bounce off each other really well when we're on stream together, which means that people really enjoy listening to the coverage that we have, because we have a little conversation about other stuff, but also about the game that's going on and things like that. And they said it was a real shame that you weren't here, but it's good that you've managed to remote in. So that was nice. But then I was having a conversation earlier to somebody, and they were like, I don't really see you playing at a lot of tournaments, Ben. Why is that? And I went, well, because I actually really love the feeling I get when I'm running tournaments for people and seeing people play. And also, I'm better at strategizing and talking through problems and stuff like that. Like, if I was going to fill a role for something, it would be a coach role. Rather than playing, because I can't execute it the same way, but I can definitely tell you what you should be doing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just like when we play League of Legends. You're telling me what I should be doing, and you can't do it either.
Exactly. I am garbage. No, I'm not garbage at the game. I'm like mediocre plus, maybe.
You have too much knowledge, but you can't handle it.
Can't handle the truth. Yeah.
I mean, it's very much the same for both of us, I feel.
Yeah, I think we don't. The thing is, I think we both also like to play armies that aren't the hotness. Like
I actively go out of my way to.
Yeah.
I actively go out of my way to be a Warhammer hipster.
I'm just going to go and check up on tables 1 and 2. Moog, we've seen some foxes moving. What do you think Simon's response to this is? If Dan can get a decent shot. Or never mind, there goes a unit of Hex Wraiths for the Sentinels. What do you think Simon's answer is here?
What do I think, Simon? Well, he's only really got one way to go through this, doesn't he? And that is to either get into combat or start using that Phantasmal Advance to start trying to dance around the Lumineth and score, well, play the objective game. Unfortunately, the Lumineth Foxes are just as fast as the Hex Wraiths when they Phantasmal Advance. So it's hard. The Hex Rays have lost a lot of models at this point. What have we lost? Probably about 3.5 units. And the Lumineth have had absolutely no real casualties. But even if he does just play for the objective and keep Phantasmal advancing, for the points. He's going to find himself whittled down by the block of archers and the wind spirits that can just follow him everywhere he goes.
All right, update from table number 2, Toby. And, sorry. Should I say, Slaves to Darkness versus Kharadron Overlords. The KO have both Ironclads alive and relatively healthy. We're just going into combat phase at the top of turn 3. I think there was a double turn there for the KO, which meant Toby had to weather 2 storms of firing. He's lost a War Shrine, a couple of Iron Guard, and a couple of his screens. So yeah, it's going to be. It looks like a pretty close and intense game, and table 1 as well. So both of those tables fighting for the 5-0, and potentially fighting for the hand of Alex, because all the trophies here are hand themed. There you go. Play Lumineth Realm Lord Ben. Nobody likes them but me and Dan by the looks of it. I don't want to paint Lumineth. I'll tell you what, if I write an army list and you paint it for me for free, then I'll play them. Dodgy Roller, note this is table number 3. Tables 1 and 2 are vying it out for the top spot and didn't quite want to be on stream. And that's well, actually that's a lie. Table 1 would have gone on stream, but we've already seen Byron twice and Duncan once. So we thought it would make sense to just have what we've got here.
I still say one day we cover the bottom tables. It's the way to make people like me feel included.
I think we should. Do you know what? The only reason we didn't cover table 2, Tom, is because Stephen was damn sure that it was going to be a steamrolled game. Like, he was just going to fall over, and it was going to be it was just going to be poor. So unfortunately, although it looks a really close game now, I wish we'd have had them on stream. But this is still an absolute cracker game to watch. You know, seeing all these Hex Wraiths falling to the Lumineth, and the Lumineth being like, right, we're going to kill you now, and then the Hex Wraiths are going to be like, boo, back from the dead, let's go. And a charge in from the Wind Spirit up there. Did I miss something? Wasn't Stephen playing Byron when the draw first came out? Don't think so, Elvin. I think we're unless the draw was redone. I don't know, but that the draw that I saw, dude, was the draw that we've currently got. But we'll see what's happening up at those top tables later on throughout the game. We've got an hour and 5 minutes left on the round. I think Duncan and Byron's game's coming to a close. If Duncan can win every priority, he can eke out the game by victory points, according to Byron. But if Byron can win just one of those priorities, he can double turn some scoring and put Duncan on the back foot. There is quite a few friendly faces here, Tom, indeed. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for joining us here. Round number 5 at Mancunian Carnage. Simon versus Dan. Nighthaunt versus Lumineth. And we're at the top of turn 2 here. Lumineth getting there against the odds pretty darn easily. And we've got those Wardens going smack bang into that unit of green Hex Race, but also tagging in the red unit of Hex Race. And the Lawseeker making moves as well. Potentially looking at going in and successfully going in. We've now seen that, Simon's now pinned back a little bit, but what you've got to be careful of is, remember, Nighthaunt can retreat and charge, which is why what we've seen is Dan has set up a wonderful little screen here of 10 Wardens, the Shrine, obviously, and his other unit of 10 Wardens down here at the moment. They do look like they're going to be making a move soon, but it's going to stop the Hex Race going quite this way towards the Sentinels, and it manages to keep that nice block of shooting relatively safe so that they can just keep shooting for a third turn. I agree, Tom. I think Stephen's was putting himself down in terms of the caliber that he is, but I think I also think he maybe didn't want to play on the stream just in case it added extra pressure, and I will never pressure anybody into being on camera, because then, you know, I'm not paying them to do it. They're doing me a favor by giving us content so we can stream it. So huge thanks to Alex and all the players for allowing us to stream the games that we've got going on here over the weekend and giving us some content and something for you guys to watch. Well, I watched Alex hit submit, Elvin, on the round, so, and it came up as what it was. Maybe he redid it and then read it again. I don't know. We have got what we have got. It's a damn interesting game, though. I'm hoping Duncan can pull it out. He is pulling a bit of a crowd now, table 1. I just hope they're letting them play their game, you know? Because there is... We have a nasty... Well, not we, as in like everybody, but there are some people in the community that have a nasty habit of going and playing their friend's game for them, if you like, after they've kicked some ass or had their ass kicked. So I'm pretty sure they're all just standing by watching, but I hope they'll respect the players and they need to concentrate. That's why over here, when we stream games, we basically give the players an iPad and then we walk away from the table. We will just walk away and be like, cool, you do you, play your game. I might have a couple of questions every now and then, but we try as little as possible to interfere and try and get as much information from the cameras and the voices of the players themselves. I usually have when Moog's here with me in person, I usually have the players in my ears as well, so I can hear what they're saying. I just haven't got it at the moment, unfortunately. So quite a few charges coming in there from the Lumineth. As you say, Nighthaunt want to be charging, not charged, Moog. Do we think the Wardens have the output to go through these units of Hex Wraiths?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've got more wound potential, as does near every unit in the Lumineth arsenal.
Yep.
So they're doing mortal wounds on 6s. Yeah, I think they should do a decent amount of work if they've got any buffs as well.
Yep. Will I be staying on late to let us know who wins the trophies? I'm afraid, Liam, I've got to pack up and get back home about an hour and a half down south. And it takes me a little while to pack up. And I'll be packing up whilst they're doing the award ceremonies. I'm pretty sure, cheeky eye on Twitter or even Tabletop TO, well, actually, no, Alex does a lot of top scoring as well. So I think keep an eye on Twitter. You'll be able to see who is going and winning. If you follow myself at the One Man Bailey or at Dyson Ducks over on Twitter, I'll be retweeting the announcement of the winners.
In terms of combat potential for those Wardens as well, they've got 2 attacks each at 3s and 4s, no Rend -1. So we don't care about the Rend because we're against Nighthaunt. Because they've made a charge roll, it'll be 3s and 3s, and then, as we said before, any 6s are a mortal wound. He might also do the once per battle to do some mortal wounds from the magical elf flask of the champion.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Depends if they've also got Power of Heish for the mortal wounds on 5s instead of 6s.
There is the Power of Shahaish, yes, on that one, the big unit at 20. Actually, Elvin, the total TPs between Stephen and Duncan are the same. It's just the SOS that's changed, and I think the rankings or the pairings that happen when Alex hits submit, I think he's done it randomly, so it doesn't do SOS. It just goes on TPs. I don't know. I don't know. I'm afraid. I'd have quite happily taken Duncan versus Toby. That would have been a great game. A gaff off. Either way, we're going to have 2 players on 5-0. Unless they draw, right? They could definitely draw. That's 100% a thing.
It is rare, but potentially.
Well, yeah. And we see a whole unit of Hex Rays getting lifted for the first part. And now this is the other half of the Warden's unit going into that green unit. We're removing all of those 5-ups because they are the damage. And an all-out attack as well, so they'll be hitting on 2s, which is nice. Wounded on 3s, did you say?
Yep, 2s and 3s.
2s and 3s. And then we're looking at...
That is a lot of 1s.
So 4, 5, plus the 5 mortal wounds. Sorry, 9 in total. 4 plus the 5 mortal wounds. I think. Saves 2, 3. So 3 dead from that unit. And the ethereal save? No. Oh, saves it. Wow, okay. I genuinely thought that was a 3-up. There's a lot less Hex Race on the board than we initially started with here, Moog. In turn 2.
Yeah, it certainly has been a tough time. Do we still have any units of Hex Rays off the board?
No, they were all deployed. +1 to wound is the other way around. It's when wardens are being charged. Oh, they get +1 to wound if they are being charged. I guess because of the shield.
The War Scroll I've got says when they make a charge.
Wardens.
Well, if the target unit made a charge in the same. Oh yeah, the target unit. Yeah. Okay, so wounding on 4s. I mean, you're only really looking for them 6s.
Well, I don't know. I did think he popped his Triumph this turn as well, so he will be wounded on 3s. Because his Triumph is obviously +1 to wound. Why would you not take that? I'm saying that's what it is. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's his Triumph. Now I'm doubting myself. Oh, God. Oh, God. Dan, show me your list.
Otherwise, mine is correct. Yeah, that was my bad on misreading the War Scroll.
There you go. We'll do it. Indomitable. Wait, that's not the +1 to wound. What's Indomitable? Don't even use it that much.
I don't know, because the Triumphs are named weirdly for what they should be.
Yeah, they're named the wrong way round, aren't they? Like Bloodthirsty isn't +1 to wound. No, isn't the charge one, is it?
No, it's Indomitable and the other one that.
Oh, they're just.
Because one of them's Ignore Battle Shock, and one of the Inspired is +1 to wound, but Indomitable is past Battle Shock.
It's like the. Do you remember in the last GHB when you had Apex Predators and Survival of the Fittest? And in Survival of the Fittest, you chose who your Apex Predators were? Or your Alpha units, or whatever they were called? Like, dudes, come on, just get good. Okay, so we've seen Simon has been removed down. Oh, how many units has gone now? Oh, Jesus, that's a lot of dead Hex rates. We've had the orange unit, the pink unit, the blue unit, the purple unit, the yellow unit. So that's 5 units of Hex race dead. A wounded, sort of like red, orangey unit, and a wounded green unit. There's not a lot left. You know, when you've lost 5 out of 8 units of Hex race, you've got 2 Cruciators, 2 Dreadblades, some Spirit Hosts, and only a few Hex race left. Unit of 10 at the bottom with the Wind Spirit have cleaned up them. Lawseeker's just taken another one out.
Yeah, it's getting hard to look at the Nighthaunt side and thinking there's going to be like a massive swing in their favour.
Yeah, I really don't think Simon's got the bodies at this point. But this is what separates the men from the boys, is whether he can find a way out and find an out from the current situation he's in, because it does look a little dire, you know. Not a lot of the Luminef have died at all. It was only a couple of Wardens here or there, and they can just rally back on a 4-up if they're out of combat.
I mean, yeah, we said this about the Skaven Ogre match yesterday, where the Skaven were looking absolutely doomed.
Literally, turn 2, we thought it was over, and then Duncan brought it back and won the game. So, you know, it's not over until a fat lady sings, and there ain't no fat ladies, so which means it's not over. Or until Alex says stop, like, you know, he's the dad today. Well, running Warhammer tournaments is essentially just babysitting. That's how you go. Tom, they do use Swiss, but I don't know if they use Swiss to the point of strength of schedule, if that makes sense. So I know they use Swiss on tournament points and TPs. I don't know if when they do the when the matches are created as to whether it takes into account SOS or not.
And what system do you use for your tournaments that are coming up this weekend or next weekend even?
For me?
Yeah.
What? Oh, for this... oh, yeah. That's right. We have an event this weekend.
Giving you a segue here, man.
I'm so sorry, Moog. Jesus Christ, I'm like half asleep. DiceyDucks.com for all of your tournaments. There's one happening this weekend at Sanctuary Gaming Centre in the UK. It is a 2,000-point matched play event. If you want tickets, the list submission is Tuesday. So I need your army lists in by Tuesday, and then the missions and lists will be released on Wednesday and Thursday. We will know what 5 missions we're playing, but not the order in which we're playing them. In terms of scoring, it is a 20-0 system with tiebreakers in terms of TPs and kill point. Well, it's a 20-0 system, but the it's done by wins, loss, draw. Then it's done by TPs. Then it's done by KPs, and it goes all the way down from there. I know what you're saying, Tom. But the only difference, like the difference between 2 and 3, is the strength of schedule, and that's it. Like if you actually look at the tournament points, they're the same. So what I'm saying is, I don't know if Alex has set it up to do it Swiss with strength of schedule, or whether it's Swiss randomized with TPs, if that makes sense. Because 2 players are on 120. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, 2 players are on 125. I hope that makes sense. I don't know.
We just turn up and film.
Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying, Tom? I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. Moog, I will put drop numbers in the lists when people start putting them in their lists for submissions. I already have to type out 11. There was so there were 70 odd people here. Alex has very graciously offered to change his event pack to make sure that people have to submit it in a text format, right? So that it makes my life easier. But I had, out of the 75 lists or something, 11 of them, 11 were images. Like, come on, team. Come on.
Were any of them like pictures from a phone of a physical lens?
Thank God, no. They were all like screenshots or badly cropped stuff. The worst one is there was a list that was an image with no grand strategy and no sub-faction.
How many people made their list on Battlescribe?
Not a single cookie.
That makes a difference.
How many people submitted lists that looked like it was just a car crash of the keyboard? About 30 of them.
Anyone submit a list on a napkin?
Nope, no napkins. It was all digital lists. It was just like they were all made in an army builder. They just hadn't been exported using text. It was exported using image, which is unfortunate. There we go. An eye for an eye. Well, the end of Dan's turn, sorry. We did get against all odds. Hold one, hold two, hold more. Eye for an eye is a pretty simple one here for Simon to pick and hopefully achieve, because that Law Seeker is looking pretty deadly. It's already taken 3 wounds by the looks of it.
Next tournament, I will try and one-up it in terms of complicatedness.
Well, you still need to submit your list for this weekend.
I know I do. But I'll take a picture on the phone and then take a Polaroid of the phone.
And then mail it to me.
And then of the Polaroid, I'll get a little camera and then I'll send you the camera to go get it developed.
Yeah, let's do that. Awesome.
And yes, I do need to, but I've got until Tuesday, so...
You do. List deadline was extended up until Tuesday. Is available on the website, diceandducks.com.
I mean, there's only really a few armies I can take, so...
It's just multiple flavours of Skaven, right?
Well, I've got the Giants. That's always a nice chill time to play with.
Nothing but babies.
I do play nothing but babies. You ain't wrong.
I'm trying to decide if I want to do a player audio live stream over the weekend. But I think I might not this time, just because it's my first tournament at the new venue. I haven't got the staff, patience, nor time to stream it myself, unfortunately. We see in Simon's turn, he's going to be using his Cruciators to try and do some form of damage here, but what do we think we're going to lose? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Dan's only lost 4 of those Wardens in the top center unit. Nothing on the top right. I don't think a Sentinel's disappeared yet. And looks like he's 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, he's got a full unit of 10 Wardens down the bottom. Both Foxes are mildly hurt at best.
So, yeah, I don't think we're going to see all that much come out of the Nighthaunt at this point. It's just going to be clawing back points where we can, I think.
Yeah. And kudos to the players for making sure that they obviously play it out. How is Toby versus Stephen looking? Let me stand up and have a cheeky check. In fact, I'm going to go and check on the scores of the top 2 tables. Chat, hold on. Toby's going to be our first 5-0 here, recorded. They're just playing it out now. Stephen has conceded the fact that he doesn't think he can win at all, and Toby has gone, I'm going to struggle to see how you win. And we're looking at Duncan versus Byron coming to a close now. Duncan kind of needs the Purple Sun to eat one of the Auric War Chanters. He's holding on. He's only 2 VP behind, but Byron does have a turn in hand. So if he can not hold too many objectives and not get any battle tactics, Duncan might be able to pull out a 5-0. He's really, really close on table 1. Kind of wish we had it on stream. But we don't want to see that again, do we? But Toby versus Steven is looking like a solid Toby win. Pretty close on turns 2, but by turn 3, it's gone from there. Steven and Toby are having laughs and playing around though, which is quite nice. And have I missed anything on the tabletop? No, just look at those combat gauges. All day, every day.
I'm impressed that people own this that own this many.
At one point, I owned 180 combat gauges, fun fact.
Were you also selling them?
Yeah. But I owned them. We just see obviously the retreat and charge here from the Nighthaunt. Means they have got the movement to go into certain places. You know, we still could see a double turn from Simon.
Yeah.
He could pull something out of the bag.
I mean, if those hex rays do get, I say those hex rays, which unit? If the hex rays that are bunched up in the middle get into that line of the 10 wardens and wipe them out this turn potentially, then they've got free reign on that big old block of sentinels. I mean, they still got to dance around the 2 fox spirits that can just go around claiming objectives.
Yeah. Being able to move in your opponent's shooting phase is a bit dumb, isn't it? Oh, can they still do that?
The movement in
your opponent's phase.
I don't know if that got taken out in the.
I
don't know. I think it can still move 12.
At the end of the shooting phase, this model can make a normal move or retreat 12 inches.
And yeah, likewise, they can retreat and charge, so the hex rays aren't probably threatening them all that much.
Oh, is that some really... Obviously not, right? But I'm, like... Full disclosure, chat. I don't think this is right. However, wouldn't it be janky if, because the way it's written, at the end of the shooting phase, this model can make a normal move or a retreat move of 12 inches. In addition, this model can retreat and charge later in the same turn. If it was in combat in your opponent's turn, retreated, technically it's eligible to make a charge in that later turn. Right? By some weird... Obviously not, right? Because you can only... Unless you're Iron Suns, you can only charge in your own phase, surely. But by some weird jank, does that let you do that? I assume not. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No, core rules 11. In your charge phase, you can pick something and attempt to charge.
But Iron Jaws overwrites that, right? Iron Suns?
Yeah, Iron Jaws have their own rules that say you do it in the enemy hero phase or the enemy charge phase. But otherwise, core rules just say in your.
Yeah, but this battle tome says you can retreat and charge later in the same turn. And if you retreat in your opponent's shooting phase, you've still retreated in that turn. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Obviously, like it's obviously not, surely. We can see the Cruciator is trying to cruciate things to death here. An eye for an eye. He just needs to kill a unit. We'll see which units he can look at killing.
I think it's got to be one of the 10. Well, it has to be one of the 10 wardens, pretty much.
Or that Lawseeker.
Yeah, very much could be the Law Seeker. I think foxes are only loved by the Illumineth players.
I love the models.
I also dislike the models, but...
Oh, yeah. See, that's where we differ. I really like the models. There you go. World Organizers. I know Tom's in the chat. Organizing Worlds for 2023. Thanks for joining. What would you say about the Foxes' nonsense? Just out of curiosity.
So,
Look at that box of gubbins. I would love to, Tom, but he's currently inundated with people submitting results. I dislike painting them. I'll happily build them. I just hate painting them. And we can see the Hexways are piling in for a charge, a 4-inch charge, sorry, for the Hexways, Spirit Hosts, down at the bottom into those Wardens. There is the potential for a lot of mortal wounds, so a 7-inch charge. Looking for all his tokens in his little token box. So I assume these guys are going to be -2 save, maybe, if you can get multiple charges off like that.
yeah, give them a fight last, give them -1 to hit, just in case you don't wipe them.
Yeah. Fight last is so nice. I'm surprised Luminef don't fight first across the board, you know?
Oh, they fight twice at once.
Well, yeah, but that's
I mean, they already gave the other elves fight first. So they had to give this one just something a little bit different.
Yep, there you go. All 3 debuffs stacked on that unit of 10 Wardens. Dragons being able to garrison. What? I'm sorry, what? Can mounted models garrison? Please don't tell me that's an actual thing that they can do.
Models with the wound characteristics of 10 or more cannot garrison. No other. So
No
yeah,
other stipulations?
Yep. Just
So mounted models can garrison?
yes, as long as they are under 10 wounds.
Wait, dragons don't count as mounts?
Nope.
That's disgusting. Oh well.
Yeah. But you'll have exceptions to the rules.
No. Why does it just say on their war scroll that they don't count as mounts?
I think the problem is their war scroll doesn't say that they're mounts, yeah.
Or maybe the Stormcast on top counts as a mount. You know, in some cases where, like, the riders of, like, the Arachnarok Spider or something count as mount, don't they?
Stormdrake Guards. I mean, it does have the category of mount. This unit's Draconith is armed with a Draconic Flamestream and Draconic Fangs and Talons. That's under the mount thing. I don't know if that was added after the newest GHB or anything in an FAQ.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy scenes. I really, really, really want some positional cameras so I can just zoom in on these things. Duncan. Oh, our Skaven player didn't. Duncan didn't beat Byron, so Byron has gone 5-0 at the event. So far. It was close, apparently. Close. So Team USA would garrison them to help them survive turn 1, then translocate them out, long strike, shoot the screen, hero phase move, bam, you're dead. Ugh. I mean, it's a great tactic, right? If the rules allow you to do it, then do it.
I mean, the whole Dragon Army and double shoot long strikes was a wonderful, wonderful time.
It was really enjoyable. Don't know what I'm on about.
It was really enjoyable going down to like table 36 and still encountering double shooting, short strike, long strikes. Really enjoyable when you're playing Old Skaven.
Alright, so we've got more charges coming into that unit of 20 there. Cruciator gone into the Law Seeker. I think that's one of the Foxes actually down, to be honest with you guys. I think I just missed it. Did the Cruciator kill one of them? I can see one on the board. I don't know where the second one is, though. Oh yeah, one Fox has been slewn. Or slain.
That's what we like to hear.
Both impressed and mortified. Yeah, Tom, that sounds about right. That sounds about right indeed. Oh, I realise we've not had the background music on. So sorry, chat. There's usually something to fill the empty spaces and voids. Sorry, chat. So sorry. Good morning, San Diego. I hope you're all okay. Now you've just heard that. And there's all the stacks and buffs there on the... there's -2 save on that unit of Wardens there in the middle.
Delicious.
I also would have liked Duncan to win. It would have been nice to see Duncan 5-0 an event, considering the last tournament I saw him at was the Warrior Lodge. And he went 2-3. He had a really bad weekend. His dice abandoned him, and then this weekend just looked really promising. Unfortunately, he was pipped to the post.
Of course, as a Skaven player, it is not his fault. It is the fault of all of his underlings.
Of course.
It's the model's fault.
Yes, yes. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 14 of those Wardens left. You want Steven to win, but you also want Slaves to win, so if they could swap armies, that'd be great. I don't think Steven's... I think Steven's looking to eke out TPs here rather than an actual win, unfortunately. I think he's looking to try and get the secondaries and deny secondaries as best he can. I'll go with the black one. Yeah? Sorry, chat, 1 second. I do remember you and Duncan actually having a good game on stream. Duncan's a wonderful opponent. Absolute gentleman. And day one he gets hammered, like, beyond belief. Sorry, I was just talking to Byron there about his game, and he was saying, you know what, this would have been a cracking game on stream. And I'm like, damn, I'm sorry we missed it. It was literally, it came down to a 6-inch charge roll at the end of the game, apparently. And if Duncan had made the 6-inch charge with a reroll, he'd have won. Feels bad, right? Feels bad. And we've seen the Wardens getting removed here. When I get a second, Tom, I will check. But you are exactly right. I need to ask him about the SOS stuff. I think it's a tiebreaker for the final rankings. I don't know if it's a tiebreaker for the pairings. But remember, as well, Alex adds in painting scores and stuff like that, soft scores to the tournament results. And that's the way Carnage has always been. So whether you are a fan of that or not, that's the way it's ran. I run my tournaments mostly based on gaming. I use favourite player as a very last resort for a tiebreaker. But then I have a ranking system for favourite player and then a best painted section as well. So I separate my gaming and my hobby scores out from each other and try and award them both equally. Soft scores are for ranking, not for pairings. But I think SOS is the final thing. I'll straight up just ask him. Give me a second. From my understanding of that conversation, strength of schedule is used as a tiebreaker for rankings, but not pairings. It is a tournament point Swiss and then random inside of that. I find strength of schedule really strange in maybe not in after 5 games, but I think that, like, I play Star Wars Legion tournaments as well, and they only play, like, a lot of Legion tournaments are one-day tournaments, right? So you end up with like 3 people on like 3-0 or whatever, and they just use strength of schedule as a tiebreaker because there's no way to score the VPs like in a reasonable manner because they're all playing different missions and what have you. But I find it very strange, like, how your final placing, even if you've won all the games, your final placing is just based off how well your opponents did. I don't know, I just find it strange. Whereas the Magic tournaments that I've all seen, they play until they have a definitive winner. It's almost a bit like a knockout. Anywho, we've seen the Hex Wraiths do some damage to those Wardens there in the middle. The Sentinels remained untouched at the moment, obviously. And I think we're looking at plowing through the rest of it now.
Yep, so seeing the damage that those Hex Rays did this turn, it is, well, it's entirely possible that the rest of the unit may flee to Battle Shock up there. Depends on if the Loom left have any CP left.
Has his his Triumph left move?
He's got the Triumph still. I mean, we could still see them, you know, if we get the double, retreat and charge around into that block of Sentinel.
Would you want to take the Unleash Hell?
Well, you've got a unit of 1 Hex Wraith there. You take it with that. Or is that a Dread? It might be the Dreadblade Harrow.
There's 2 Dreadblade Harrows in the middle there. There is a unit of 2 Hex Wraiths up on that rock at the bottom just there.
Well, I mean, from where we're looking, all I see is blobs of black horse. So
yeah, that's fair.
But no, it's definitely a Dreadblade, that one.
So, yeah, but that's 5 games, Dodgy. I'm on about the 3 games. Like, you say easy games, right? What if I beat the world champion round 1, and they use, like, they just have a really, really bad day. Say they're the world champion, but they have a really bad day. Luck's not on their side or whatever. And their strength of schedule is garbage. But their game 1 took me all of my skill to beat them. Because the rest of their games were maybe losses as well. It just seems a bit weird. I don't know.
This is why I'm just an assistant monkey. I don't do any of this.
Oh yeah, Tom. Right, don't get me wrong. If your games were harder to win, then sure. But what if my game 1 was the hardest thing to win, right? Because it was against somebody, some name, and then they go on to lose their other. They go 0-5, but only just for whatever reason. I know. I get it. I understand why it's there. Because I've definitely had tournaments myself, right? Where I've played the absolute blinder of a game 1 and lost by like 1 VP, and then proceeded to have 4 garbage games. Now, my tournament would have been completely different if I had won by that 1 VP. But my opponent also plays really well. It's like, I understand it's a way to do it, right? But it's almost like should there be some form of like player actual SOS on top of it? But yeah, it's just, I do find it, my brain, I understand why it's a thing, I just find it very interesting. I don't know, I just like to play till there's a definitive winner, honestly. If it takes 10 rounds, it takes 10 rounds. I just like Warhammer. And we saw that unit of 10 Wardens got lifted by 3 Spirit Hosts, 3 Hex Wraiths, and a Cruciator. Holy smokes. Oh, Tom, you just play till there's a winner. Like, yeah, regardless of time. Just take all the time off. Just take a month off for work. That's how it works, Tom. Obviously, it's like, it's a way to do it. I use a win, draw, loss. Then I use a 20-0 system inside of that. Then I use something else. I need to check the pack. I've read so many tournament packs recently. Hey, Spadge, how's it going? Hope you're doing well.
Yep, we got a lot of tournaments coming up.
You can check them all out on DysonDucks.com. It's on the event coverage calendar. Oh, I've not actually got... Have I got it in here?
No, you've only got Quest of Champions and Warhammer.
No, I'm looking at my pack.
You need to go through and add a bunch.
I do need to go through and add a bunch, yeah. Oh, there you go. Tournament points, which are the 20-0s, then kill points, then favourite player ranking, and then a roll-off. Win, draw, loss first, obviously. Like, if you win 5 games, you should win the tournament. Regardless of if you won them 19-1 or 11-9. Battle tactic and grand strat, then SOS. That's fair.
I would like to replace the roll-off aspect of your pack with a favourite pizza topping and decide it that way.
No. I thought you were going to say like an interpretive dance battle.
Oh no! Just favourite pizza topping, because if we've done the pizza tier list before, we've got the scores ready.
We do. You find a 20-0 system where players can get a 17-3 result, does the strength of schedule part simpler. Potentially, but what it does is the 20-0 system compares the game to itself rather than whatever from there. Rather than how well your opponents also played, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with Tom there. Kill points is terrible because, well, just for that, if you're playing a bad tier army and really have to fight your way up, you might end up barely killing everything, or barely killing anything, or going to a real sluggish standoff and then winning.
Yeah, Tom, I think you're definitely right. Everything has flaws. I don't think there is a perfect system to score. It's just preferred systems to score for people. That's why. So I use kill points as a because I track kill points for my event anyway, and that's part of the pack. So if you know that's part of the pack, bring a killy army if that makes sense, or a tanky army. It's not something that I go bazinga on the day of the event. Like, it's always in the event pack, so you know what you're getting into. But that's why I use it as a third tiebreaker, because by that point, TPs are usually different. Like, the 20-0 system, is usually different enough. I think technically there's a world, right, where a 5-0 has less 20-0 tournament points than a 4-1, but the 5-0 will still win the event because they went 5-0. Nah, Tom, I still say a perfect system is play until you drop dead. Definitive winner. There you go. Who really cares about anything after first? Let's be honest. No, I'm joking. It's really weird, right? Because you want the satisfaction of the top 3 being the true top 3, but you also want to make sure the rest of the field feels like that they've ranked properly. And what might work for something at the top of the field might not necessarily work for something in the middle of the field. Definitely for you, Liam. That's why I've separated my painting scores away from the gaming scores. So there's no soft scoring in my gaming apart from the very last favorite player. Because they say the best thing to do is run an event that you would want to play in. And I'm all about, I love favorite player stuff, right? Moog would, if you had the option to run a tournament, he would run an inverted table, but not tell anybody. So if you got the spoon, you'd actually get the biggest prize.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way it should be done.
Yeah, I think it's run the event you want to play in, and because I use favorite player as my last tiebreaker, and I don't do a 1-vote system for favorite player, I do a ranking system. So you have You have the numbers 1 through 5, and you can assign each of those numbers once to one of your opponents. Yeah, potentially, Tom, but I personally still think a 5-0 is... I still think a 5-0 is... deserves a... Not deserves a win, but should win the event. And I don't know. For me, a 4-1 winning an event over somebody that's gone 5-0 feels weird. I don't know. But again, as we said before, nothing's perfect, and it's a really good sounding board. And I'm pretty sure, Tom, you'll have sat through hundreds of these conversations or hours of these conversations trying to figure out what the best scoring system is to use, how you use it, and all that sort of stuff. And the council or the committee of people that you've talked to have agreed on a certain way. Or maybe even not agreed in a certain way, you know? And maybe it's taken longer because 50% of you are one way and 50% of the other. Or it could have been unanimous. There's so many different things, like, and different ways to score it. So, yeah. I say as a TO, choose what you think's best. If people like it, they'll come. If they don't, they won't. And at that point, you might need to change it.
Now,
back to the game.
Talk about all of this. You see that the Nighthaunt did get the double.
Yeah, the Nighthaunt finally got a double.
Massively needed for them.
They recorded as eye for an eye not being achieved, but I'm pretty sure didn't the fox die?
They also took out the unit of wardens down the bottom, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go and ask. I'll be 2 seconds because they might have written it down as scored, but not on the app. I'm not gonna ask. I'm gonna look at their written score sheet first. I'll be 2 seconds.
But we see the slew of combat gauges come out. We're retreating for that top combat, going for that bottom line of the wardens that are protecting the 20 sentinels and the... Well, I don't actually think there is anything in the shrine anymore. I think the Law Pika, as we've dubbed him, has perished in combat elsewhere. We've also got the fox lying pretty by the shrine.
Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, he did get eye for an eye.
A fox hasn't died.
No, a fox has died.
No, there's one fox behind the shrine and there's one fox up the rock.
I can't. Oh, I can see a fox behind the shrine. It's literally hiding behind the shrine there. Sorry,
Yeah.
cat.
No, a fox has not died.
Sorry, I thought it had. No, it was the wardens that died. That shrine is so damn sneaky.
So, Spadge, we could still conclude that the foxes are immortal and cannot be killed because this list, frankly, cannot catch them.
Well, I don't know. I think this list probably could catch them.
No, they never can. They can move 12 inches in the movement, so they will always be out of range of a charge.
That's fair.
Unless they get completely pinned in the corner.
Speaking of being pinned in the corner, we're looking at the double turn here from the Nighthaunt, and we're seeing Barter Enemy Lines has been chosen and achieved already, let's be honest. And it's you know, we're seeing a load of spells, a load of shooting come out from like the Cruciators and stuff like that, and we're going to see some charges coming through now.
Yeah, hopefully he's removed enough wardens to start sneaking the horses through into those sentinels.
I think it's a shame he started with a unit of 2, obviously trying to get a big charge to proc and unleash hell. Do you have to be within 3 inches to proc and unleash hell, or is it half an inch?
Unleash hell, you have to have made the charge move, and then the shooting unit has to be within 6.
Every model within 6 gets to shoot. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do just enough to tip within 3, but not enough to get any more than that. Oh, and D3 mortal wounds on the charge on the way in, and it was 3 flat mortals over onto those wardens. Holy Moses. Crazy.
I challenge you to find a way, Spadge, to catch them with an all dwarf Caesar Sigma army.
Bridge and hope for the best. Alrighty, so these are the Sentinels doing some shooting and some unleashing of hell.
Yeah, I'd heavily imagine we're going to see the 2 dead X-rays here.
Yep, but you've tanked the unleash hell with the 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends how many of these end up being in range.
I think you have to do it then, obviously because you're going to end within 3. So you've tanked that, and we're just going to see some long bomb charges come in now. Now, the more that you can charge, obviously, if you charge high with Nighthaunt, you have the ability to choose a lower thing if you wanted.
Yeah, and there they go. But at least they did the mortal wounds to the wardens and took away that screen, so the rest of them are free to just wander through now.
Yep, leaving a unit of wardens at the top left at the moment though, but I imagine if there's some lower charge rolls coming in from the Hex race, we might see them fall back onto it.
Right, there we go. This is what we want to see. We want to see the slaughter of the elves.
Yep, and we can see them absolutely hell for leather going in here.
I'll tell you what, the last 2 games I've streamed, we've been literally nothing but great charge rolls.
7's not quite enough to get where you want to be, I don't think. What view would you like, Zorpus? The Spirit Host didn't get in, unfortunately. Oh no, wait, Spirit Host did get in, sorry, the Cruciator didn't get in. We're just seeing more big old charges coming in. X-Ray's looking to charge into the Wardens.
So I think they rolled a 5, so...
It's still D3 Mortals, which is important.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get to the Sentinels, but obviously didn't have the space.
And still do 2 mortal wounds to those Wardens. Oh, 1 mortal wound, because it was... They got a ward, the Wardens. Oh, yeah, of course they do. Illumina. Dreadblade Harrow getting in on a 9. And the other Dreadblade Harrow did go in indeed. And I think that's a Cruciator on an... Oh, nothing.
No, bit too far for the old boy. Now, can they do enough damage to that block of Sentinels to actually make a difference here?
Well, I'm going to just nip to the top down so I can actually see what... Because we've got 2 fights going on here. We've got the a unit of Hex Race... 2 units of Hex Race and Spirit Host, I think, into those Sentinels down the bottom. And we've got 2 Dreadblade Harrows and some Hex Rays in the Wardens at the top. Welsh Dice coming in strong, Owen. You know what? They're damn legible on the stream, so I'll give you that. Thanks, buddy. And with only 2 minutes left of the round, the player's going to be smashing through turn 3, I think. And then probably calling it because Alex has a dice down policy.
Is that 2 minutes including extra time from the fire alarm?
Yes, Alex did reset the timer.
Crikey, that flew past.
Yeah, it's mental, isn't it? We've been on this call for 2.5 hours, well, over 2.5 hours.
That is a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
this game could still very much go either way, I feel. It all depends on how much damage. I don't know. Because there's a lot of control from those foxes in being able to zip and take all of the objectives they want to.
I'm sorry,
obviously,
what? Why have all... Oh, I guess for the sake of brevity on time, the players have just said that those 20 Sentinels will die?
I guess if they're working off of averages. I mean, I'm not opposed to seeing this much elf removed at once.
No, neither am I.
But no, yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, I guess just so Dan can make sure that he gets his second turn in.
I think they're probably going with, I will kill these 2 blocks. Is it going to just be a case of, are my foxes going to be able to move quick enough to keep the point scoring up?
Yeah, so I think what happened there, chat, just so we're all aware, there was only 2 minutes left on the clock, and we're only at the top of turn 3. So to be fair to both the players, I think what's just happened is rather than wasting that time rolling the dice, they rolled for the unit at the Wardens. Yes, Owen, there was -3 to their saves, I think. -2 to their saves. So they were on a 7+ save with no command points, I believe. So there was no all-out defense or something. But yeah, we lost the unit of 10 at the top, which they rolled for, and then they got all of those long charges there over onto those unit of 20 Sentinels. And it actually just leaves Dan with 2 Foxes left. And that is the round, but I think the players are just going to finish this turn up now.
Guys, the end of the round.
Thanks, Alex.
Please finish your games and get your results into me ASAP so I can do the match.
Yay! Eye for an eye chosen. Try and get a couple of points back here.
Yeah, take a Dreadblade Harrow out with one of the foxes.
Yeah. Question is, what does that fox do at the very bottom? It's got a 12-inch move, 24-inch move.
24-inch move, then a 12-inch move.
And then a 12-inch move. Be able to hold 1, hold 2, hold 3, but not hold more, I don't think. So I think we might end up actually seeing a 13-15 on the VP there in Dan's favour. But then I think Simon gets his grand strategy, but Dan won't. Because he'll take what's theirs. So I actually think Dan will win 16-15 after grand strats are claimed. Assuming that Dan's not holding more, which I don't think he is. I think he's only holding 2. 3, sorry. He's holding the one in the top right, the one in the middle bottom, and the one on the left. Unless he's proving grounds to the one in the bottom right, where his Sentinels were. Which very possibly could be a thing. Cruciator down, 1 from shooting. And then in combat, we're going to see... Sorry?
Gets him that eye for an eye.
Yep. That's 3 damage. Sorry, they're going back and doing the shooting from the Fox, I think. The second Cruciator. And it's definitely not gone the way I think either of us expected there. They're just finishing the last 2 rolls of the game. Alex looking at me as if to say, your table's not finished, Ben. And then the priority in the 4 gives it to Dan. Dan got hold 1, hold 2, and eye for an eye. The question here, Tom, is what's unacceptable? The round time, which is the same as everybody else and people have finished, or is it the speed of the players? That's the question. Now, I'm not a fan of chess clocks, but I'm also a fan of chess clocks for some reasons, right? I think if you go 3-0, if you're at a tournament that's got some pretty big stakes, right, or big like maybe a big cast of players, right? Maybe not my 20-player tournament next weekend, but when you've got like 75, 80 players, or you're doing worlds, or you're playing for money, right? For me, if you go 3-0 day 1, you should 100% be on a clock for day 2. Minimum. And there is the handshake to talk out from the players. I'm just going to get a real quick update. And then, yeah, they did roll it out, but they went back for the dice down and did come back to the apparent fact that it is a 16-14 Simon win against Dan. There you go. It's me. Oh, this isn't Moog, but it is the cat. And then Moog on the comms. Thank you.
That may as well be me.
That may as well. Yeah, I mean, it looks like
that's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
What? Sleeping naked on a chair? Don't answer that question.
That's the kind of channel we are now.
Yeah, naked on a chair. Why not? Thank you so very much, everybody, for joining us here on the live stream of Dice and Ducks, covering the Mancunian Carnage, August 2022. A solid 75, 76 player event after some dropouts and things like that. Sorry. Players are getting their final results in, and if you chill out and watch on Twitter, I'm pretty sure Alex will be putting the results up. I want to say an absolutely huge thank you to every single person who's watched, all the players who have played on the stream, to Element Games for hosting us, and to Alex as well. I appreciate you being here and letting us come and stream your tournaments. Thank you so very much. I'm going to ask him if he can hold my event out. No, I'm joking. We are running an event next weekend. Hopefully in the week I'll get a game streamed normally, and it'll be me playing against somebody else or 2 other people playing. I think Byron got... It all depends on the soft scores. From gaming scores, yes, Byron won. But it all depends on the soft scores. Okay. Other than that, I want to say... Oh, Jesus. God damn it, Alex. I'm trying to talk. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody. Moog, thanks so much for joining me remotely for the couple of games that you did.
Yeah.
There we go. I was just waiting for him to say something. And we will see you guys later on this week. And if not before, if you want your event covered, do me a favor, drop me a visit on diceandducks.com. Drop a subscription here as well. There is an event coverage request calendar, on the website. So if you want your event covered or want to open up a conversation about that, you can fill all the details in there, including dates and event pack, that sort of stuff, and we can go from there. So massive thank you to everybody. Oops, so go on, Moog.
So we will cover anything: backgammon, chess,
War Machine,
tiddlywinks.
well, mostly Age of Sigmar, Middle Earth, Star Wars Legion, that sort of stuff. Drop us a thing, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Other than that, thanks everybody for being there. Catch you in a bit. Look after yourselves, and happy hobbying.